Welcome, hope you can see me alright. The long awaited la-di-da hexagon cardigan. Sorry, I'm full of cold, so I'm a bit sniffly and I feel like I'm rushing about. So it's hooded. We've got the I don't know what kind of ribbon it's called. We've got ribbon here. It's all of the colours. Or we've got the cuff sleeves. It's nice and long. So I've been working on this. I think it took me about 5 days, but I don't do much else. I've watched a few seasons of thingamabobs. I'm just trying to get it to fold a bit better on there. But yeah, it's nice. So I'm just going to do a little show you. We've got the blue. I've tried to keep it the same underneath. Like how this, you know, like started the similar type, similar colourway. Oh, and I've got a hot flush. Hello. So that is it. If you want to stick around how to do all of the parts, I tried to break it down as best that I could, and I'll put the timestamps across the bottom. Enjoy, enjoy. For our project today, we're going to be looking at using the Cupcake Feelers hand knitted yarns from, I forgot where it was from now, but it says the yarn weight is approximately 150 grams, 490 meters length, and a 3.5 hook, and it is in like a rainbow colour. The dye lot, I've made sure I've got the dye lot the same. Now I've bought 5, but I'm going to use some to make some bags afterwards. I'm looking at doing 4 of these because I want a hood and maybe possibly pockets. Yeah, I'm going to do the hood and the pockets and everything today, so it's going to be a full tutorial of the whole cardigan, the whole shebang from start to finish. You can skip, I will try and put timestamps in, but I don't know how to do it. You can skip to the pieces that you want. But yeah, 4 of those, but I have bought 5. I've got, it says there, 3.5 millimeter hook, and I'm going to use a 4. Well, I did use a 4 on this side. This is one side completely done. So we're going to make the other side up to this, and then we're going to join this together. So I just wanted you to get up to, I wanted to do one in advance. Here's one I made earlier. So we'll get on with doing that. When we begin, I want it to be as similar or the same as this side as possible. Sorry about all the ends because they haven't been sewn in. So this starts on the blue and then it goes into the indigo violet that way. So if I was to say pull out from, have I got one? I haven't got one, no, that isn't. I'm looking at the centre here and I want it to be round about the same. So if I went from, say, the outside of one, see that's the blue, and it would go green, yellow, which would be that way, the back in reverse to that, if you know what I mean. So I'm wanting to pull out from the centre, because I've pulled out from the centre of this one, and I want to look at starting with the blue because I want it blue. So all I'm going to do for this one is to pull at the centre till we get the blue, and it's just a little bit of blue, and it'll just be as close as I can get it, and then I'll keep them for later. I am going to make a bag and whatnot, and it'll come in handy later on. So to begin our hexagon, I'm going to make my slip knot. And I like to chain 4, but if you like to do your magic circle, feel free to do your magic circle. 2, 3 and 4. We're going to join at the first, chain, pull through and chain 2. That is my first double crochet. So in the center of the ring, so we're just going to pop this down so you could see, the center of the ring is there. So we're not going to crochet into the chain, we're going to crochet right into the center. So if you were doing your magic ring, this is where you would be doing your 6 sets of 3 granny clusters, so which is 3 double crochet. So that's 1. It is a bit fiddly at first, but you will get used to it. 2, 3, chain 2, into the center again with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and I am crocheting over the tail end because I'll cinch it later. I'm just going to put that on the floor and then it'll feed up naturally from the center. Chain 2 and 3 double crochet into the center. Chain 2. If you find that you do crochet quite loosely, you can go down the size, but I want the cardigans to be slouchy and loose. I don't want a tight fitting cardigan. So that's 3 lots, another 3 to go. One, 2, 3, chain 2. Just pull the work apart a little bit so you can see the center. Double crochet 3, chain 2, slightly apart, so on the first one you could always do a not use that as your stitch, but do 3 on top of your stitch. Just sometimes that gets lost a little bit in there. You just got to pull it apart. So chain 2, I'm going to slip into the very top of that stitch, slip stitch, and then we're going to count our rounds. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this isn't going to be flat, so just bear with that, keep that in mind. So I'm going to, because we're using the variegated, I'm just going to go round and round and hopefully it won't lose its shape. Sometimes I'm just slip stitching into the next gap, but sometimes if I'm using the same colour, I'll go one way clockwise and one way anti-clockwise, and it just keeps it more of a shape, in like more shaped in your corners. But like I say, if this is going to be a loose cardigan, so we're going to chain 2, and these are all corners, so we're going to double crochet 3, chain 2, and double crochet 3. So I call these granny clusters. 2, 3, chain 2, back into the corner space for 3 double crochet, chain 1, then back into this corner space for 1, oops, got a little pull there, let's see. So back into the corner, 1, 2, and 3, chain 2, three double crochet, chain 1, and we're jumping over to the next space. Three double crochets, so this is another corner, chain 2, and then back into the same one again. Then we're jumping up, we'll just chain 1, and we're jumping to the next corner. Chain 2, back into the same space, and complete our corner, chain 1, back into the next space, chain 2, back into the same space, and chain 1, slip stitch into the very first double that we done, just into the top, and close. So just let me check that I've got some, so I'm going to keep my loop at the top, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know I've got 6 corners. Now I can carry on working around again. So sometimes if I'm doing a similar colour, I will turn my work and go back on myself. But because this is variegated and I want to follow the flow of the yarn colours, so what I'm going to do, because normally I would turn and use this one, but I'm going to slip stitch into the next gap. So just one in the middle, one into the gap, and we are on the corner. So these are your corners now. You can see because they've got the chain 2 and they're sticking up a little bit, and your chain 1's just a small gap. So back into the corner, we're going to do our 3 double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 1, and we've got a gap in between our corners, so we're going to pop into that gap, and we're just going to do one, I just want that a little bit tighter, one cluster, which is 3 double crochets, and chain 1. Then into our next corner. So on this row, round 3, we're adding 1 extra cluster down the middle. So chain 2 and back into your corner. Chain 1, we're down the side edge, so it's a smaller gap. So we're doing a cluster of 3 double crochet. Chain 1 and into our corner space. Three double crochet, chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Once you've got this, is very important to get your first few rows to get you on your way to doing your hexagon cardigan, because if you mess this up, then you've messed the whole cardigan up. So this is why I'm going slowly, and I'm not fast forwarding, and I'm not jumping, skipping anything. I want you to see and follow what I am actually doing. So we're back into the corner. So on some yarns, I find that you wouldn't necessarily chain 1 down the sides. So I'll just finish this corner. So we've got your corner again. And then I would chain 1 and go into the side. Now, sometimes if you don't chain 1 and you go directly into your sides, which I don't think it will matter with this yarn. No, it doesn't. But it would make it stretchy too much, because you haven't given yourself a chain to jump over. So when you come to doing the rows, would look stretched out and very thin, whereas I don't want them to be thin. I want them to lay nice and even, and like a nice granny stitch there. So that's why I always put a chain in between. But some yarns you don't have to. But you'll get the feel of that. And sometimes if you wanted a bit more, the actual rows are just seem to be more pulled if you don't have a chain space in there. Did I actually do a chain space in there after all that? Nope. So I knew that because this stitch looked wide, it looked too pulled over. So going into another corner. Cluster, chain 2 and cluster into the same space, chain 1, going down the sides, so it's just one on its own, chain 1 into the corner, chain 2 and back into the corner space. You've got a little bit more work and crochet to hold on to now, so it's not as not as fiddly and difficult once you get into it a little bit. So then we're going into our last space there. We're going to do a cluster of 3, chain 1, and we're back at the beginning, so we're going to go into the top of that chain 2 that I start with. I always start with the chain 2 as well, and slip stitch that to finish. So sometimes I would flip it around and come back into that first one. I was hoping I'd be onto the different colour blue by now. So we're just going to check over on to make sure we've got this one right. So we've got a corner, so that we've got a 2 and a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, a 1, a 2, a 1 and a 2. Now when we're doing our little folding it up part, we're going to put the first nearest 2 edges together to make it look like an L shape, but you can see now that we are on the right track and we haven't got any extra bits and we're not going awry anywhere. So we're going to carry on like that. Now on this round we have your corner and we have 2, and the next round you'll have your corner and then you'll have 3, and then the next round you'll have your corner and then you'll have 4. So we'll I'll stay with me for a while. If you get bored, you just crack on, and I'm going to make this up to 20 rounds because that's the size of my cardigan, my first half. So when I end up like this at the end, I just like to slip into the corner. Sometimes you could start on a corner as well, but I just find I like to start in the middle. So we'll chain 2. That's the first of our clusters, and because we're in a corner, we're going to chain 2 and back into the corner. Mine is going a bit looser than this one because I'm holding my I'm on the table, I'm not sitting close to me, so I feel like it does look a bit looser, the stitch. I don't know if you can tell there, but it'll be fine. So chain 1, and remember we've got 2 coming down the sides this time. Chain 1, and then our second one. Chain 1, and then we're into our corner. So I'm thinking now you should have the gist of it, because otherwise it's just going to be boring watching me going round and round for 20 rounds. I'm just going to show you my 20 rounds. Because I find it, my tension's not right sitting up there. So this is inside out. I've done my back, I've done my sleeves and everything on this part. So this is where we do our 20 rounds. So that's, I always count from the center to your outer, and I think I might have done 21 actually on this. Let's just see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So I've actually done 21 rounds for this. Now I was working it out, if you wanted to go up to, this is like a 12 to 14, so every time you want to go up a size, I would just add on 2 more rows. And if you want an extra large, I would go up to 25 to 20 to 30 rows, depending on the size that you want. So remember, just do your measurements, which I'll have put a clip in of the measurements before now, so you know where you're heading to. So that is that for now. I won't overload you with anything until you've done your 20 rounds. You can do both sides if you want of your 20 rounds, and I will meet you back here. I mean 21 rounds. So just to quickly go over the measurements and how I work out how many rows I need to do. Well, it's not rows, it's inches. You need to work in inches with the hexagon cardigan, because all yarn is different and all tensions are different. So when I do the hexagon, because it's so easy and we're not really following a pattern, we're just going by your inches. So all around my chest is 40 inches. So my body is 40 inches. So I'm wanting to do half and half. So each half would be 20 inches. Now I want it to be bigger than that. So I want my actual working hexagon to be the 20 inches. So when you fold it in half, that is 10 inches. So my half of my hexagon, when it's folded up, from there to there is 10 inches. And as I crochet, my usual row of 1 row of granny squares is an inch. Is it an inch? It's half an inch. So I end up doing 20 rows, if that makes sense. 20 rows. So if you want to go to a size 14 to 16, you would do 22 rows for a 14, 24 rows for a 16, 26 rows and on and upwards. So let's do that again. So I'm a 12 to 14, then you would be 16 to 20, 22, but you just follow your own measurements. That's just a rough guide. So you could go up to 30 rows plus and as well if you want a nice loose cardigan. So for our initial stage, the beginning, I'm looking to do the 10 inches. And as it happens, I've done actually 21 rows for mine. I don't know why, but I have on my first part, so I'm off to do my 21 rows now. Okay, so now I have got my 21 rounds, the same as this side that I wanted. I am going to sew across the shoulders. Now what I like to do is to get the back part that will be the back part. So that'll be this side. That's right, isn't it? And that's going to be along the shoulders, and that's going to be the arm. So I want to bring it up this way, and then this will be the front, and then I'm going to crochet across the top until I get to the sleeve, and then I've got the sleeve area. Excuse my dog. Go on. So we're going to start on the back long panel which are the back and the front panels. I'll just get all my threads together. Just going to check that I'm filming properly. You can see my hands. I need to cover me a little bit. So I hope you can see that. So I'm going down this edge. We're going to put our hook through that one and into there. We're just going into the corners, the gaps, and that's it for your attaching. And then I'm going to work single crochet into each stitch for stitch. So if you can see that there, I'm going to go through both stitches at the front and both stitches at the back. And this is so I don't have to sew. You could sew it if you want to, but I don't want to. So it's into the front, into the back. You really want both picking up if you can. And I like to do it this way so that it keeps it sturdy. Some people like to do different ways, but this is the way I like to do. So we're going through both the V's from the front row and the back row and joining them up. I have actually made a bit of a boo-boo. I'm going to stop there. I've just noticed the green. So we're going to just stop, flip it over and start again. So just remember, this is your work and you can do whatever you want. But I've just realised when I wanted to do it in the green. So I'm going to go through, pick up the loop, put your thread to the back. I'm going to go through the gaps in your corner. Oops, get on your loop, through the first gap and then through the second gap. Pick up your loop and bring it through. And then we're going to do opposite to opposite. Hope you can see that okay. Opposite to opposite. And we're just going to do that all the way down to the, so we're looking at, still going to the sleeve edge. So this is the back and this is your shoulder to your sleeve, and I will meet you back when we get to this sleeve edge. I've also put a stitch marker just at this end in the last loop, just to make sure that I was on track, because it looks a bit bigger on this side, but it's not, it's just the way that I'm sewing it together. Coming to the end now. I'm just about at the end of the shoulder to sleeve end. It's not exactly the cuff yet, so to be halfway down your arm. So take that stitch marker out. Just make sure we're going into the corner to corner for the last one. Then I'm going to chain 2 and open up the sleeve. So now we're just going to go around the sleeve for a few rows. So I'll just open out my one that I've done earlier. So the yellow was the last, and then we done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows added on. So how I work it so it's evened out, because we're going to come up, it's the middle of the seam, and you have got the open gap there from underneath the sleeve and that from the top of the sleeve. So I'll be putting a cluster into this, so this will be as the middle, this will act as the middle one, this chain. So we'll put another double crochet beside that, and then we'll skip over to the next gap, and when we come round we'll put one last one in here, and that'll join them together as a cluster. So we chain 1 and put our cluster into the gap, and we're just going to work a chain, sorry, and then 3 double crochets into each gap as your cluster. Chain 1, so everybody else does the sleeves differently as well. Sometimes I would decrease by now, but I don't like the way that it falls, so I like to make a cuff, so I will be making a cuff. So I'm just going to work all the way around the sleeve as we have been doing. Right, we're coming round to the end of this row, so I'll put the last cluster in that one, and then when we jump over to the next cluster we only have to put 1 in there, but I think I might just put 2 in just so it's sturdy, and then I'm going to slip into the top and secure that row, and then I'm going to hop over to that, slip stitch, so rewind, slip stitch into there, and then slip stitch into that gap, chain 2, and then go around this. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just going to make a note on my pattern. So we've done 21 rows. We've now attached at the top seam, and on the sleeve, so that's the normal 21 rows, and for the sleeve we're doing plus 5 rows. Just wanted to add, when we are joining on after our yarn's finished, I'm always going to be pulling from the center, so I always look for one that's got similar to the color that we've got. So we've got purple coming up on this one, but I think it's just that purple in the middle, so I mean red, and I found one with the purple in the middle, so I'm just going to join just to keep it consistent. We don't want to add from the opposite, the outer edge, because we'll be going in the opposite direction. When we have added, or we've got a knot, all I'm doing is crocheting as I would, just leaving the ends out because I'm going to sew them all in later, because I'll be following the colours, threading them back, so the blue will go to the blue side and the violet will go to the violet side. And then when we finished this round, we will be when we finish the 5 rows on the sleeve, we'll be just snipping off and cutting it and leaving it for now. Once we've finished with our sleeve ends, we're going to be working on the centre back. So with our centre back, on this side, we've got our, where we've joined the shoulders at the top, then we've got the part that's going to the back and the part that's going to the front. So we want to make a little bit longer at the back. So I've already done this one. So I've done 4 rows and at the back, and I'm going to do 4 rows on this side at the back. So I'm going to pick out, let's have a look. Oh, actually, I'm going to, yeah, hopefully we can pick out from this. So I'm going to pick out the orange. No, I'm not, because that's too much. Right, I've got some that we took off earlier from another side of the cardigan. It should be, yeah. So all I'm going to do now is join onto this top end. So this will work for the back of our neck. So once I've added this on, here we go. I'm going to flip it away from me. So I want to be working along the back seam. Join it at the very top, and remember, I'm not bothering about the ends at the moment because I want to sew them all in later and want to make sure that they're in the right place. So I'm going to chain 3, pull nice and tight on there, and then do a cluster there. Chain 1 and a cluster there. So it's easy as that to join onto the back. Some people put little granny squares in, but I'm not, so we're just doing what I'm going to do today. Then we're going to work all the way down to the bottom edge, to that one. I'm going to turn and go back up. So I'm not going anywhere else, I'm just doing down the very, very back seam. And because we've done 4 rows on that panel, I'm going to do 4 rows on this panel. So once we've done that, you'll be just cut off the yarn, and I will meet you back up. There's nothing much to see until that is actually done. So what I will do now is just write it onto my notepad, my trusty notepad. So you can take a screenshot of this. So I've got 5 rows there, and then I'm plus 4 rows on this one, and now we've got this one. We're going to do 4 rows on these. So that makes 8 rows in total. So you could, if you wanted to do, like I say, little granny squares up the middle, but I'm not going to do that. So once we've done that, we've got all our rows at the sleeves and the back, and we'll meet back again. What I meant to add is, when we're on our back panel, coming down the back, when you get to the bottom cluster, because we're only in a corner, I normally just do a chain into the, like a double cluster, a double crochet into the very last chain, and then I turn and it'll be clustered into the first one on the next row, if that makes sense. And I mean, squibble, muddle. And when we come to the end of the row and we come to the cluster, we just pop a chain, a double crochet into the end. Sorry, I'm shading there. We'll just pop in a double crochet into the very last stitch from the row before. So as long as you get them all in, because we'll be putting a border around them anyways when we come to do the neck portion. What I'm going to do now is let's just make sure that we've got our two backs together. Yeah, so this is our two backs. Now we want to seam on that side because this is our we're inside out. So I'll flip over there to there and just get all my yarn ready. And remember, we're on a no sew, so we're not sewing, and we're going to crochet from one end to the other. So what I will do is space it out. What's happened is my tension's got loose, which always happens. I kind of start off tight and then work my way loose again. So I'm going to just put a stitch marker in that bottom corner there, and opposite corner there. Okay, keeping them together, just make sure that we're right, and then we're going to put one in the middle. Okay, I feel excited because we're getting, well, I keep saying we're getting closer to finish, but we're not, because I am actually putting a hood on this, which is fantabulous. So the hood will be coming up next. No, it's not. Just ignore me. Coming up soon. Okay, so we'll just shake them out so we're not catching in any of the other sides. So we're still on our wrong side here. We're going to pick up, pull that nice and tight, and we're going to pick up from the opposite side. You can try and crochet over that if you want, but it won't matter because we do have a lot of ends to crochet in anyways, so we're not gonna miss just doing one or two ends. We can just see. Right, we'll catch that. As long as we're catching the green is our working yarn, and we're going to do opposite side to opposite side, making sure we're going through our V's. Just let me check. I'm going to pop that out the way. So we're going to make sure we're going through this, and then grabbing hold of our yarn and pulling through. Okay, so we're just going to single crochet all the way down the center back of your cardigan, and when we get to the bottom you can just cut it off if you want, and we'll sew in the ends later. So that's the beauty of keeping your stitch markers there as well, because we're on a long piece of the garment. We don't want to lose you know, we could pick up tension in one area and then them not meet at the bottom and then have to do it all again, which nobody wants to do it all again. Alright, so I'll meet you at the bottom when I do get to the end. So we're getting to the bottom, where our bottom is, of the very back of the cardigan. Let's take this out. Loving all the colours. So I am actually just going to make a small cut, a cut. Now let's have a look from the right side. So it's not looking too bad. Now I want it to be long. So where we go on from next is from the bottom of the cardigan in lengthwise. We're leaving this because we're going to do the same as the sleeve. So now I'm just going to go from this corner around and back again until I'm happy with the length. So let me see what colour, because I've run out of the green on there. We'll join at the orange side. So going into our gap, we're going to chain 3 and turn. Oops. So that's going to be our end, and we're going to, I'll do another one that'll take us into the next space. So I'm going to double crochet 3 into the next space. Chain 1, and because we're working back on our right side again, I've nearly lost that stitch there, look. Right, so all I'm going to do now is work the length of this cardigan until maybe I'm going to use the rest of this skein that I've started, ball, whatever you say, or whatever we're going to call it. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to tie the ends in. Right, I'm just going to carry on working down and down till I've had no more. And this is just the bottom of the cardigan at the back. So we're going across ways now of the rows that we went down. So I'm just going to put a cluster there, chain 1, a cluster there. I'm going to sneak a cluster in just there, look. So I just thought I would pop on to show you that in case you were a bit stuck. Okay, and then we're just going to carry on, and I think I'm going to make it quite long. It's exciting. I'm just loving all the colours. We've done the row along the bottom of our cardigan. It's getting harder to see now because we've got so much of the garment made. We've about, let me just check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 extra rows. That's 3 skeins of this already used, and I do have 2 left. So before I've done any more in the length, so that goes down over my bum, which is quite a good length. I haven't actually measured it up really. So before I wanted to do any more in the length, I just wanted to put the hood on. I don't know if I'm going to do pockets actually. I was going to do some pockets, but I don't think I will. So we'll definitely be using another skein of this, which will make it into 4 skeins. So if you want to buy it before, I'll put that at the beginning. So we're using 4 skeins, and we need to add it onto my little notebook for, oh, where's my pen run out? 4 skeins, 4 balls, and each one was like 150 grams, so nearly 500 meters, so you can work that out yourself. Right, so for the length in inches so far, and it is, we've got about 28. Now then, to make your hood, back to the drawing board, because this is what I'm doing next. I have to get a pencil that works, pen that works. Oh, come on, I just wanted to be organised. Right, so this is to get your hood measurements. Remember, everything's done off measurements for me. I don't want to take a chance and just do off so many rows. So I have, this is me. Yes, I've been on a diet. So for my hood, I know that I want that area to fit me. And this area I've measured is 28 inches, which is all brilliant. Okay, so I wanted to add it to the front of my cardigan and along the back. So I wanted to come down to here, so that when it falls down, it's going to fit lovely. So how we do that is 28 divided by, well, halved is 14. Right, so we know we've got to have 14 on either side. So bear with me. I know what it'll come to you. It'll come right in the end. So we're going to the back, the top back of our cardigan. So these are our arms. This is the back of your cardigan, and this is the front. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? Or you'll want stitch markers or a bit of yarn or whatever to mark your places for this one. And now I've got caught in a little hook. There we go. I'm going to pop this on the floor. So this is the centre at the back, and that's where we want to do our measurements for. Sorry, I shouldn't put anything in my mouth. It's naughty, naughty. And we're going to get a stitch marker. Okay, so now, because we know we've got 28, I'm going to measure 14. Just tell I've cut that to shreds. So that's from there. I'm going to go all the way across the back of the neck, and then it'll be coming down the front. So we have got, say 4 across the back of the neck, so that makes it easier, and then 10, which I was thinking 10 anyways, down the front. 9, 10. So if you want to mark there, see there's like a gap there, 10-ish, roundabout. Go to the nearest gap where you can join on. I have got really cold and I've started shaking with the cold. And a bit of excitement, to be fair, because I am getting excited. It's coming to the end of my project. I always get excited when I'm coming to the end. And it hasn't been one of those that I wish was over either. I've quite enjoyed it. And the same on the other side, so we know that's 4. Just fold it in the right place. I hope you can see. I'll move this just in case. So we know that's 4 there, 4 there, 10 down this side, and we're going for 10 down this side. Round about there where we've got a gap where we can join on. My little shaky hands, can you see? So come down there and we're going to go for the nearest gap, which is, oh, I've done it again. As soon as I take my eye off it, I lose my place. That's why you've got to get your stitch markers ready. Possibly just using thread might have been better. Just using a spare piece of thread, bright coloured thread, rather than a stitch marker. So this is where I'm going to start. So when you put them together, they'll be round about the same place. I'm just going to check. I hope you can see what I've been doing. Now I'm going to open this up and I'm going to forget about the rest, and we're just going to concentrate on this centerpiece here. So I'm going to take all of this away from me to my left because I'm right-handed, and just concentrate on the job at hand. And that's all you have to do when you're doing hoods or your sleeves or anything else, is just think about what you try not to think about the overall project, because you do get overwhelmed, and I know I'm really bad for that, because I can be sitting doing one project and thinking about another. So remember, I'm not doing anything with all of the ends till later, until I've decided what I'm going, until I've finished, and then I can weave them in nice. Right, see what I mean? I've just got to think about what I'm doing. So I'm gonna chain 3, and then we can pull that nice and tight. And all I'm doing is doing my granny cluster. In fact, I should have just chained 2 there, look. It's gonna be all right. I normally just chain 2 and then chain 1 in between, and your granny cluster into the next. So in every gap we're going to put 1 granny cluster, which is 3 double crochets. I've took from the center yarn as well, so we're following our pattern of colorways. So this was orange onto yellow and then green. So yeah, orange, yellow, and then green. So it's going to be the same colorway. And I just really want you to concentrate on just the job at hand. I'm only going to show you a first row because that's all you need to be concentrating on at the moment. Right, so we're coming up and along the back of the neck, and down to the side of the, what would you call it, the front side of the cardigan, your front left side, the collar. I'm just in a bit of a tangle here with the yarn. Now this is the corner, so what we're going to do is just double crochet into the corner. I don't want to cut out any corners. I don't want to cut any corners because I don't want to make any funny shapes with the hood. I want it to be nice and flat. So we've just basically opening this out. So it's like a flat row. Imagine in your head it's just going to be a flat row either side. So I'm not going to chain one here, but I am going to put another cluster in there. And chain one and another cluster in there. So now we're hitting the very back of the collar, so we just carry on. I didn't want my green there. This is what I mean about not sewing your ends in yet, because if they're going for the wrong colour, to me they'll just stand out. So we're at the centre back. Just pop a single crochet. No, I think I won't. Just go straight into a cluster stitch of 3 double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets. Chain 1, and now we're coming down to the opposite side, which is your left side. Did I say that before? I meant right side, and then now this is the left side. The only thing, when you pull from the centre, sometimes you get a bit of, I forgot what you call it, like blurb, blurb, blurb. Go away. Where it all likes to knot up in itself. So the next gap is there, so I'm not going to chain, I'll just do straight into a cluster. Chain 1, and now we're just onto the side, so we're just going to work down to our stitch marker. There's another little bit, come on, go away. think this is my third day of making this cardigan, so I haven't done too bad. Don't forget to chain one. Okay, so we're down to the last set of clusters. Just going to take my stitch marker out. I'm going to do 3. So we put the hood on before we do our border, so then our border's on and it kind of flows through the hood's on, and it kind of flows from your cardigan. You can do it all separate, but this is the way that I want to do it. And then we'll put the border on last. So now I'm just chaining 3. I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to crochet. I didn't measure the top of my head, so yes I did. Of course I did. So now we're crocheting. All we're doing is crocheting this, our 14 inches. Remember when we've done this bit? So we've attached that now, and we're just going to be working in a nice square. So it'll look, we'll open these sides out and that side out, and it's going to look massive. 14 inch to there. And I will meet you back when we've done that. This is the hood, and we're now 4 rows into it. I thought I'll just stop and give you a quick glimpse of what it looks like, so that to let you know that you're on the right track, even though it does look quite wide. You could always do it smaller, but I want it to be a nice slouchy, big, oversized cardigan. So yeah, so that's as far as I've got with the hood. And I will meet you back up when we've done a few more rows. Here we go. So it's like got the purple and the crimson at the bottom, but then working up to the hood. Trust the process, trust the process. I think I've got another 4 rows to go. There we go. Sorry about the light, but we're downstairs. I've done the 14 inches straight up and across for the hood. So this is our right side, and to join the hood, hang on one sec. We're going to fold where the tape is in and crochet along the top. We're going to join our top end of our cardigan together. So I've lost a couple of stitches there in transit. Oh, I don't know, out of breath, run up the stairs. Right, so we're going to just join onto that side, get our yarn round, pull it through, come on. Okay, and chain 1, and then we'll just work our way down to the top. So this is the top of your head, so hopefully you can see. And wait, yeah, so the seam is on the back there, the seam on the shoulders is there, So we're working on the inside of the cardigan. So this is the seam edge. I just had to make sure that I wasn't crocheting it inside out. So still no sew. We will need a darning needle, but it'll be just to sew in the ends. So we're getting close, guys. We're getting close to the end. We're on day 4, the end of day 4 though. So I might not get the border done tonight. I don't know what time it is. I did want to upload this Sunday, but I'm not going to be able to. So it might be Tuesday, my normal day. I think it's Tuesday uploading. I'm going to try and think of something else that I want to make that I can do a full tutorial for you. Okay, so we're just crocheting along the top. It is the 22nd of December and I keep thinking that Christmas is like next weekend, but it's not. It's easy. What day is it? Wednesday or something. I haven't even properly looked. Just one of those not one of those days, one of those times for me at the moment, but luckily I've got family that's organising all my Christmas for me. And I just have to chill and turn up. So okay, so all that is just single crochet, joining your seam to the end. We'll snip it off and just leave it there. All right, and then I'm just going to snip it off when I get to there, and then I'm going to show you how we do our border. I have got about, I don't know, maybe half a skein left, which is good. So I want to start the border. Now you don't have to go around the back if you don't want to. You can just come up the edge, but I think I might go all the way around, and I'm going to do it in a double crochet. So I've got the right sides now facing me. I'm very, very happy, very, very happy. I'm just going to sort out this knot. Don't know how these happen, but I used to always pull so tight, but with these you just have to try and open them up, so loosen them up. Okay, and find the end. And it's the, oh, tell you what I will do, I will start on that side, because it's this colour, isn't it? We're on this colour again, which is lucky. Oh, so all I'm going to do is start at that corner, work my way around in a double crochet. That can just join onto there, can't it? Oops. Chain 2. We're going to fasten them together, and then I'm going to double crochet. I can put them over actually, because it's going to be the same colour. I feel like I've done something wrong there. Oh, I'm going to leave them out. I'm not feeling it. Right, so I'm going to double crochet in every stitch around, and I'll end up back here. But what I'll need to show you, I think, is when you're coming down this side, you'll want to put 2 double crochets in them, 2 in them, and try and work it out that it's not too loose. If you feel that it's going too loose, right, hang on, I'll show you. So we're coming to the very bottom, the other corner of the bottom of the cardigan. So we've put a double crochet in, and I've decided very last minute that I want to do a front and back post double crochet ribbon all the way around, just so I'll let you know. So I'll show you how to do that as well once we get around, but you can carry on and put I just thought it looked a bit plain for what we've been doing so far, or you could do single crochet, completely up to yourself. But I'm going to do the front and back post double crochet. I think I've got enough yarn to go around a few times. Right, so we're at the corner now, so I'm going to double crochet again. I'm going to chain 2, double crochet again, so around the corner, and I'm going to double crochet again. So we've got with 2 chain and 2 double crochet. Now working with the side, we're just going to look at the side of our stitch and work out how many the rows would be. So we've got 1 double crochet in there, and we'll probably put 1 there. So it's a game of hit and miss coming up the side, but as long as it lays flat, you're good to go. If when you sit back, so we'll just see where there's like a gap there, I'm just going to try and find a way in and put a double crochet there. So if you sit back and there's a lot of gaps in this and it doesn't look right, then it isn't right. Now when I'm looking at that, it looks a bit much, but because I know I'm going to do a front post back post double crochet, that pulls this in tighter, so I know that'll be okay. And then working up there, we've got a double crochet in there, and we'll probably work 1 in there. So we want to try and get it though as nice and neat as we can, which isn't the because we're using the same like bright colours and we're looking at it, it's going to stand out that it is a lot different, but there's nothing we can do about that because it's just the nature of the colours. But yeah, and then the more you sink into this now, you can sort of they kind of jump out to you, so pick me. So we're just going to go all the way around back to where we started. Oops. With a round of double crochet. Just try and find one where we can, okay, that's it. I'm going in between, as long as there's no gaps and it can lay flat. Oh, so we've come up now, we've come up the it'll be the right side of the front of the cardigan, and we've got to the hood. So I just wanted to show you how we do that. So basically it's the same, and it is awkward because it's the side of the hat, the hood, and it's the side of the stitches. So we just try and keep your work straight and flat. That's all I do to keep me right. But I don't think you could go off in any other direction. And just basically again, I've went into the top of every stitch of the granny stitch, and then we're coming to the side. So we're just going to look for somewhere that we can pop our hook into without leaving a gap basically. And it is, some of these are going to be tough, so you don't have to go into the stitch. Some of them I've went round into the top of the granny square, and same here, just grab it so you've got a good hold of it. And then if you can't find, if that's too tight in there, which typically it isn't, well, I'll do 2, that's it. So, and then 1 in there, I'm going to try and do it so that it's maybe, yeah, that's fine. So just carry on doing that, and I just thought I would quickly stop and show you the hood. I want to try and cover everything I can think of, like every little detail that I can in this tutorial. So it's fully comprehensive, fully informative, and we can all be making our gorgeous hexagon cardigans. I think I'm going to do I know I keep saying the wicked one, but I've also want to do a jumper, so I might do it in the jumper. So look out for that coming soon. Anyways, back to work. So we've worked all our way around the edge of the cardigan, and we're coming up to the end where we're going to close this first round of double crochets. So I'm just going to go into the last few stitches and double crochet, so you can see where I'm going, just into the side of the previous double crochet, and then we're at the corner here. So once we get to the corner, we want to double crochet twice, chain one, and double crochet again into that square there. Right, I'm going to take that out just a sec. Right, I'm just looking there, so I want it to be into that. So we're going to double crochet twice, chain two, and double crochet once, and we're going to just slip stitch into the beginning, which would have been the first double crochet from the previous round. So that's it, going around the corner. Now I want to just go around the corner a little bit more, so when, just to be free of the corner, so we're not going to be making too much like breaking off, and then yeah, I just wanted to be away from the corner so it doesn't get too confusing basically. So slipped into that corner, into that space, and chain two, and a front post double crochet for our ribbed effect. So we're going yarn over, we're going behind this stitch, pulling up this stitch, yarn over, pull through that stitch, pull it up, give yourself a bit of wiggle room, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. Now that's your front post double crochet, and now I want to do the back post double crochet. Easy for me to say. So this time, instead of going that way, we're coming from behind your work, so you could tilt it towards yourself, and we want to keep hold of the yarn, so we yarn over, through, and then pull it towards the back, yarn over, a bit loosey-goosey, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So that's one front and one back. I'm going to do the same again all the way around, but I'll stay with me for a while, or I'll stay with you. So it's through the front, yarn over, through two, yarn over, through two. So it's yarn over, keeping hold of your yarn on your hook, coming round the back of your work to the front, and then pull to the back. So basically we're just crocheting around that post. So we're going to crochet in front of it, we're going to crochet the back of it to pull you forward, and then we're going to go the front of it to push it backwards, which it is a bit tricky at first, but the effects is worth it. So let's do that again. So we're going through the front to pull it to the back, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, through two, yarn over, round the back of the post, so we're pulling it to the front, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, we're going through the front to pull it back, and yarn over. So that is the way that we are going to be doing the stitch. You can just repeat this last couple of minutes of recording just until you get it. And once you do get it, it's just the loveliest effect, and it cinches all the work kind of together, so it does give it a nice border. And it's one of those stitches, once you get used to doing them, you'll just love it. I hope that's all right. Any questions at all, just leave it in the link below, and I'm sure I have done a tutorial just on this stitch, because it can be a bit awkward, but you've just got to remember one of these posts has got to come to the front and one of them's got to go to the back. So I will do that for this round. I'll possibly do 5 rounds, so this is the first, and I'll meet you back after 5 rounds. Just when you get to the corner, you will just carry on the same way: front post, back post, chain 2, front post, back post, and then front post again. So you'll end up following the right way. So that's there: front post, back post, front post, back post, and then you're back on your front post. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to do 5 rounds to see what it looks like. Possibly could be 6 because I've still got a bit of yarn left. But I will meet you back at the end of these 5 rows. I'm just going to show you now. We're into the corner. Oops, let's see if I can do it this way. So we've got a front post there, and then we've got a back post beside, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the center and chain 2, a double crochet into the center again, and then we're going to go into the front post, double crochet, a back post, double crochet, and then we'll carry on to the next corner. So, and when you come up to do this side, then we'll have it's brought this single one, you'll just go into the front or back post of that. We're going to join onto the yarn again. You could have all left it already joined, but I didn't think that far ahead. So I'm just going to attach the yarn to the gap as if we were starting again, and I'm going to double crochet into every chain above the top of the chains from the stitch below, and then when we get to the gap, I'm going to half double crochet decrease, not half double crochet, double crochet decrease the stitch. So we do a double crochet into that one but not finish, double crochet into that one and not finish, then pull them 2 together and finish together. So we're going to double crochet 1, double crochet 2, and double crochet 2 together. So it's, you start off with your double crochet but you don't finish it, yarn over into the next one. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on your loop, on your hook, yarn over, pull through the 4, yarn over, pull through. So it works out you decreasing on your way around. So I'm only going to decrease, so it's 1, 2, on my third one I'm going to use the decrease stitch. So you stay with me because I think I'm trying to explain it but I'm getting muddled up. So it's you double crochet, you start to double crochet, yarn through and pull up, yarn over and into the next one, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 4, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you're bringing them 2 together. So it's double crochet 2 and double crochet 2 together. If you have yours, do yours a different way, then you do you. This is the way that I've always done them. So it's yarn over, sorry, it's a double crochet and a double crochet and double crochet 2 together. Double crochet the second one and then bring them together. A double crochet, a double crochet, a double crochet 2 together. And that is what we'll be doing for this round. Try not to go too tight, because that's one of my biggest things that I do, is I just go too tight. You can always go down a hook size as well on the next round if you wanted to make it a bit. Once we get a few rows in of this, we need to get them the rows decreased so your sleeves are decreased. So we're on to our double crochet 2 together. And 2 double crochet. Just a little bit fiddly because it's just through the top of that chain. Might have to. That's it. Double crochet 2 together, and double crochet 2. Double crochet 2 together. So I will carry on as I am, and I'll meet you back up when we've done this round. So we're just going to slip into the top of that chain that we started with, just join our round up. So our sleeves are still massive. I was going to leave them big, but I quite like them just tapered in somewhat. So I'm going to do, basically, I think I'm going to do the next row the same, but maybe every, so it's hit and miss. You can do what you want really, as long as it ends up all right. But I'm going to, so chain 2, and I think I'm going to double crochet 1 and then double crochet 2 together. Yeah, so I'm going to double crochet 1 and double crochet 2 together, double crochet 1 and double crochet 2 together. I wish I'd trim that a little bit more. So we're still working this, I'm still working from the wrong side as well, so you can actually turn it round if you want, but I'm just carrying on as I am. So it's, oops, nope, double crochet 2 together. So we'll just carry on like that in the round, and I'll meet you at the other end. So back round at the beginning of the row, so just going to slip stitch into that top stitch and seal the row. So how are we looking now for size? Yep, still humongous. So we're going to do that again. And because I've got so far down to go, at least, because I'd made a cuff earlier, so I've still got that far down to go. So I've still got a while to decrease. So I'm going to carry on doing this and decreasing and decreasing until, well, I don't know yet. Let's make it up as I go along. Or maybe do 5 rows of decreasing. Okay, I'll meet you back in about 5 rows. 1, 2, this is the third one. Okay, so I'll finish up here, tie all the ends in, do that extra row, and then put the end pictures in at the beginning and the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please, please, please subscribe if you haven't and give me a thumbs up. Any questions, pop them down below. Thanks. Bye-bye.